Hello, traders. It's Thursday, March 2nd, and we're in the middle of the trading day. Let's get right to it. Let's take a look at our recent picks. We'll do some market analysis, and then we'll find a new pick. That's how this works. I'm going to show you more of the trend lines that we're using as well. This is a new feature that we added a few weeks ago. Right now, I am fairly neutral to slightly bullish. So the strategy for us has been to start easing our way into some swing trades. I've been on the sidelines. I don't have any swing exposure. So I'm looking to sell some naked puts to acquire stock. There's some stocks that I feel are attractive on the short side. So we're selling out of the money call credit spreads, bearish call spreads, if you will. And we're also identifying stocks that have relative strength, and we're selling some out of the money bullish put spreads. So these videos will have some day trades in them, but not as much because I'm trying to focus a little bit more on swing trading. Last year, almost everything that we did was day trading. Prior to that, a lot of swing trading, doing bullish put spreads, even some long call positions when the market was going up. So the point to be made is that our decisions are driven by our market opinion, our market forecast, and our confidence in it. So the last pick that I showed you was BABA, Alibaba. I had mentioned to you that the stock looked attractive on the short side, and I was keying off of this 200-day moving average. We had earnings before the open. Stock had a long red candle. The next day, it fell right through that 200-day moving average, and these upward sloping trend lines have been breached. Additional confirmation that the stock is weak. In that video, and this came out Sunday night, I will be trying to do some additional Sunday night videos. I'd mentioned to you that Monday, if the stock opens a little bit higher, and the market did open higher, I said, watch for the market to be moving higher, but for the stock to be moving lower. If that happens, then your trade is to sell the March 17th 98 call and to buy the 100 call and to do that for a 40-cent credit. Well, that's exactly what played out. So you had an opportunity to enter that spread at a very nice price, and you can see how the stock has been able to pull back below that 100-day moving average. This is a nice position. We're going to take a look at some of the other plays that I have, and now that we're doing a little more swing trading, these positions are going to take longer to unfold. So I'm going to have to go back and look at some of my videos and put together a list of what the strategy was and what the date was. But I want you to know what we're doing and how these trades are performing. Sona, we sold the $20 puts. Quick look at that. And our net cost, if we are assigned on the stock, would be $19.40. That's in nice shape. You can see the stock is moving a little bit higher in here. It's under $20, but no fear. FSLY, we are short the 1250 puts for about 45 cents. We are $1 out of the money. You can see the stock is pulling back a little bit after a big earnings reaction, but it's still in great shape. I will gladly buy that stock at $12.05 all the way down here. So as this time premium erodes, it's a great way for us to generate income, and that's important because the 20-day ATR and the SPY has fallen from $9 in November to $6 right now. That means that the intraday price action is very compressed. Day trading is becoming more difficult. You need to supplement your day trading income with swing trading. So now we have to make that transition back into more swing trading. Am I super aggressive? Am I out there buying calls? Heck no. This market is still going to have plenty of bounces and plenty of dips. So all I'm trying to do is to generate some income while it goes sideways in a range. It's forming a bottom. This is a bottoming process. So FSLY looks pretty good. I'm going to go through two more. Actually, one more. JD was a short that we highlighted as well, and that was back in here. Stock is lower. In this particular instance, I was looking more towards a day trade on it, but selling an out of the money bearish call spread up here around the $52 level would have also worked. This stock tends to carry a lot of premium because it makes big moves. So JD is also cooperating. So far, we're relatively balanced as far as longs and shorts. BA, Yow. All right, this one I put out last week. It was or maybe 2 weeks ago, it was a bullish put spread. I really liked the strength in the stock. And we were leaning on this horizontal support right here. Then all of a sudden, they came out and they said, we're having to do some inspections. Our fuselage is not what we'd want it to be. And so we are going to be delaying deliveries. Well, all of a sudden, this 205 200 put spread is in trouble Friday. So we could just leave it on and see how that news plays out, which oftentimes is what I'm going to do because this did not sound like a major problem for Boeing, but I felt like I had an opportunity, and this is detailed in that video, to leg out of the position, and I wanted to show you how to do that. So the idea was to wait for the market to line up to where it was ready to sell off and to wait for relative weakness in the stock. We got that on Friday. So we were legging out of the position. The leg out, yeah, it worked okay because the puts that we bought back were actually bid higher later in the day. So we took a $1.70 loss on half of the position and we were naked long the $200 puts. My expectation was that with the market being weak, we'll get into that in a second, that we would at very least see a little bit of follow through the next day and that we would be able to sell those puts as the market came in. Well, the market did come in, but the stock held firm. It is showing signs of relative strength. Stock up, up, up. Market has been down, down, down. So let me put up the daily chart of the S&P and you can see down, down, down. Okay, well, I'm expecting Boeing to go down here. They've had bad news. The fact that it hasn't tells me that the bid is strong in the stock. It's probably going to go right back up into its compression. Our original position would have been fine, but we were subjected to this news, completely unexpected, unavoidable. That is one of the risks of trading individual equities, is that you can get these news events out of nowhere. So in any event, I believe those options, we'll check them right now. Our cost on those is $8.60 for half of the position. And so let's take a look at where they're trading now. I think in total, between the first leg out and this, it's going to be a $4 loser. So not at all what I'd like to see. So let's take a look at where those 200 puts are trading currently. Yeah, they're like 260-ish right now. So this is going to be a substantial loss. That leg out did not work. Unfortunately, I'm not doing videos every single day. Bad trade. Unfortunate trade. It happens. So you just have to put it behind you. You have to get out as best you can. Once I saw that relative strength, though, by Tuesday, Wednesday, with the market heading lower and the stock holding its own, I knew that this was going to be a bounce. So let's take a look at that. And there you can see the price action. Let me put the SPY overlay up because this is a very important lesson. And I'm going to put that SPY overlay up, and then you'll be able to see. So here's what we're getting, and this is what I'm expecting, and we'll get into market analysis in a second. Market down, 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 stock up. This is the edge that we trade. This is what we look for. This is what we want. We want to be long stocks that are doing this. So yes, it's time to get out and take the loss on that. So this is going to be approximately $4.20 loss. We got out of half the position for a $1.70 loss. Yep, I'm not going to do the math. It's a decent loser though, because the leg out was not successful. That is the risk of legging out also. Typically, when you get these big moves down, especially if they're news related and they're through technical support and you have a market tailwind with the market selling off, you are going to get follow through. Did not happen this time. So for most of you, I would suggest not trying to leg out of the position. Try and weather it a bit if you've got a news item like this. See what the market is doing. See how the stock is reacting. We still had plenty of time for the position, so we did not have to worry about assignment risk. It didn't work out, plain and simple. So I'm going to show you a couple of stocks that we are trading today, and we're going to talk about the market first. So here's what's been happening with the market. We've had this steady drift lower, and you can see how today we are right on the 200-day moving average. And let me put up the 100-day moving average as well. And the 50-day moving average is a little bit higher in here. So it does come into play, but let's keep the chart clean. On this drift lower, you can see that we have had tiny bodied candles. Well, what does that mean? That means that the close is near the opening price. Yes, you get a little bit of a range during the course of the day, but there's not a lot of movement. That tells me that buyers are still engaged. This is not a see you later, hit every bid in sight, long red candle situation. When you're going to get a big drop, that is the key. That is the key, especially if you start stacking red candles, because that tells you the selling pressure is very, very heavy. It's coming on heavy volume. Sellers are relentless. We had that earlier in the year. Big drops like this. Look at those red candles. That tells you there's more to come. This is very organized selling, heavy selling pressure. We're not seeing that right now. So what that tells me is that these moving averages, this is a major support area. We had an upward sloping trend line right here that's been breached. That was major support. 50-day moving average came into play there. But how did we attack this initial support? Well, with these just tiny little candles. Yes, the volume is okay, is better than average, but it's not huge. What happens down here? Again, we're just nibbling, poke, 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 poking. Usually when the market is poking at a major support level, it is not going to breach it. So right now we'll wait and see. If the market is able to poke through these support levels, then yes, I have to change my market thesis and I've got to adjust my swing trades. So then I would have to buy in any bullish put spreads, close the trade down, but also watch the stock technically. For stocks that I'm selling naked puts on, bring it on. Assign me. I will take that stock because I like it. So in that respect, I'm a willing buyer. So I'm just trying to take advantage of time premium decay, and I'm willing to buy these stocks at a good price. So let's see what happens at the 200-day and the 100-day moving average. My suspicion is that we'll peck away at it. We've got some news coming out after the close. We have Fed speak next Tuesday and Wednesday. Powell testifies before Congress. The Fed has been as hawkish as possible. We're currently seeing a breakdown in TLT, so interest rates are moving higher. And we'll bring that up and you'll be able to see that TLT has some pretty big technical breakdowns. And there's another trend line breakdown right there. We had another trend line breakdown that came from this point through that point and up in here. That was a nice breach, and then it fell right through the 100-day moving average. This is how you want to attack trend lines. You want to just annihilate them just like that with two long red candles. You come up to the next moving average and you annihilate that, and you can't get back above it. You come up to the next trend line and you annihilate that. That is what a strong trend line looks like. Those are the breaches that you want to be aware of. So right now, TLT looks very weak, and that's keeping some pressure on the market itself. If we take a look at VXX and VIX, you can see it's not going anywhere. So there's not a lot of fear right now that this is going to manifest into a gigantic market decline. So that's because of the price action. We're seeing just a steady little drift lower. So we'll see what happens at the 200-day moving average, and we'll see if we get that nice bounce. But in general, this to me is a bottoming process. You can see just lots of mixed overlapping candles. Now we get a little bit of a rally. We break out through some downward sloping trend lines. We are spending time above the major moving averages. We had not done that in 2022. That's a bullish sign. It's not like this. Here, poke through it, see you later. Poke through it, see you later. No, we're spending time up here. And that is going to give longer term investors, asset managers, confidence that, yeah, we're closer to the end of the Fed tightening cycle than the beginning. Yeah, inflation is going to start waning. It hasn't happened yet, but the likelihood of it is increasing. The economy has been able to hold its own, soft landing. So those are the reasons that buyers are staying engaged. And this is the key word, passively. They are not chasing breakouts, but dips, yes, they will buy some dips. So what I believe is going to happen, just based on this price action, is we'll come down, we'll test those major moving averages. We'll have to get through probably the FOMC, and then a bid will form. Again, everything is dependent on the Fed's rhetoric. Been super hawkish. Any let up there would go a long way. And then, of course, inflation is the other big element driving the market right now. So, yeah, there's going to be a rough patch for about the next 2 weeks or so. And this is what I'm expecting. Come down to this moving average here. Eventually, we find support, little dip. But this type of compression along these major moving averages would eventually set us up for a nice little rally into April earnings season. That's my thesis. That's what I'm going with until I'm proven wrong. So, consistent with that, I want to get some swing trades on the board. I'll show you a couple of day trades that we've been in today too. So, you have to have a nice mix of opportunities. And let's take a look at a stock that I like today. It came up on one of our new searches, and I have it here already. It's VTNR. So let's take a look at this search, and we'll bring that stock up. I'm just going to put the symbol in, and we'll go into the daily chart. And let's clean this up a little bit. Let's get that SPY overlay off of there so that you can see the chart more clearly. And then let's start to zoom in. But you can see on a longer term chart, this is a downward sloping trend line, breach to the upside. That's a nice little breakout. We call this a high minus. The longer the trend line, the more significant. If there are additional touches along the way, even better. This is a high plus trend line. It connects the highs and it is upward sloping. That's why the plus, and that's why the word high. You can see how the stock had earnings before the open, and it blew through those trend lines. There you can see that one breached, that one breached. We've got 3 trend line breaches. Okay, this looks pretty good. Let's look at the volume. Volume's good. Let's look at the relative strength on a daily basis. Pretty dang good. Okay, well, let's see if there's some opportunities for us. When push comes to shove, would I want to own this stock? Well, I like that daily chart. It's been in a bottoming process. It's broken through 2 trend lines. I've got the 200-day moving average coming into play right here. I've got a gap here, which is a D1 gap post earnings. So bad news, stock is able to find lots of support. So you've got a double bottom low, nice little move off of it. Got this gap fill. We're above the 100-day moving average. Got a lot of reasons to like owning this stock down here around the $9 level, which is around that 200-day moving average. So my premise for selling puts would be, am I a willing buyer of this stock where it was when the earnings came out? And if the answer to that is yes, then I'm going to take a look at selling some naked puts. And I'm not going to think twice about this because I'm just going to let time decay whittle away at the position, and I am a willing buyer of that stock. So it's a nice way to generate some income. March 17th, let's take a look at that expiration. You can see those options are 41 cents bid, offered at 52 cents. Okay, I would be a willing seller of those at 45 cents. I would be net long the stock at $9.55. $9.55 puts me in right here, right on that breakout. Would I want to own the stock there? Would I be a willing buyer? Yeah, I've seen a decent earnings reaction. On a day when the market has been down, the stock has been grinding higher. That's a good sign. You can see here, we filled the gap in right here, but the market has generally been down most of the day. Take a look at VTNR. What's that stock done during the day? It has been generally higher. Is it a choppy little stock? Yes, it is. So this trade's going to span about 2.5 weeks or so, and I will be a willing buyer of the stock during those 2.5 weeks at $9.55. If I can get a little bit more for those options, fantastic. I'd be liking it even more if I could get 50 cents or even 55 cents for those options. I'm going to have to put up 10% of the strike price. So I'm going to have to put up about $2. Well, hey, if these expire worthless and I'm collecting 50 cents, that's a heck of a nice 25% return in 2 weeks. Am I expecting that the stock could float below $10 between now and option expiration? Yeah, it's only 19 cents out of the money. So you have to have conviction that this is a stock that you want to own. This is a recycling company. They recycle metals, they recycle oil, so relatively boring type of company. Earnings are out of the way, so I don't have to worry about the rug getting pulled out from under me. You can see that the stock made it high earlier and it's pulled back, so it did not participate in this little bounce right in here with the market. So if the market comes in a little bit in here, then the stock is probably going to continue to float down. I don't have to worry about putting this position on today or right now. I can watch to see what the market does around these major moving averages. That's what my mindset should be. Well, what's going to happen here? We're at the 200-day moving average, and the 100-day moving average is just below it. We've got Fed speak tonight. We have Fed speak next week. So let's see what happens today. Let's see what the stock does. If everything's fine tomorrow morning, I'll take another look at the stock, and then I can decide if I want to sell those puts. But for purposes of the video, I'm going to say yes, we just put the trade on right now and we got 45 cents for it. So I have to be able to do that so that I can follow these trades up and show you how the trade played out. So in any event, I like the trade. I think it sets up well. I like the stock. I think it's going to find support there. So let's find a few day trades that we've been in today. And again, breakout, breakout, multiple breakouts, horizontal breakout in the gap, 200-day moving average, all sorts of reasons to like this trade. If I'm assigned that stock, I will turn right around and I will sell some $10 calls against it. So that's one little play that a member actually posted in the chat room today. Now let's take a look at some of the other stocks that were coming up in our searches today, and I'm going to go into bearish searches. And the reason for focusing on bearish searches early in the day was to take advantage of this wimpy little rally, the fact that the gap had filled and that we were starting to roll over. Since then, I mean, the market hasn't done a lot. So you could trade stocks with relative strength today, day trade them. I'll show you a couple that have been day traded in the chat room. You can also day trade stocks on the short side. And I know that a couple of them that were pointed out, we'll go in and take a look at. Amazon was one that looked really weak early in the day, and that was a beauty. You can see that nice drop in Amazon. But again, day trading, you've got to be willing to take profits because the market is not going anywhere. Those tiny bodied candles are telling you, do not expect a trend day. Get in, make your money, get out. Wait patiently for those intraday reversals. So that was a very nice one. Micron was a good short earlier today. You can see how that stock's continued to fall. Let me put the D1 chart up. There you can see the trend lines that came into play. They give us additional confirmation. There's your trend line right there. Beautiful breakdown. And it clears the 100-day moving average with ease, and it takes out this low minus. And we have this 200-day moving average, which was also breached. Stock tried to get above it. Whap. No go. So that was also really nice. Long side, I know Mosaic. I can't recall if I featured this. I think I did as a bullish put spread. And it was back here on this earnings announcement. And I loved this move above the 200-day moving average. And I loved this breakout. This has been really nice. So that's been a good one. ATI, I think, was another one. You can see multiple breakouts here. And I'm going to take a look at, let's see there. I know BAC was another bearish position earlier in the day. That turned out to be a very nice trade, and you got your move here. So what was the key? Well, the stock is weak relative to the market right here. You can see that. Now we're getting this wedge formation. Market rallies, stock does not. That is the tell. Let's put up the SPY so you can see it with that overlay. SPY, 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 moving higher. What's the stock doing? Drifting lower. As soon as the SPY shows a little bit of weakness, what happens to the stock? Whoosh, see you later. Okay, falls down here. Market's starting to find support. Take your gains. Move on. That is how we day trade. So these trend lines are helping us when they are breached. They are additional confirmation if they coincide with a trend line breach. So let's take a look at this one and I'll show you those trend lines. If they coincide with a moving average breach and a trend line breach, they're even more effective. Now you've got some momentum. By the way, the volume on these breaches is heavy. That gives us additional confirmation that institutions are in there. There are size sellers. That legitimizes the move. That's how we do this. So VTNR, I like it. It's a swing trade. It's one that I feel very comfortable selling it out of the money. Put on naked. I'm willing to buy that stock at $9.55. Ideally, I'm able to buy it maybe at $9.50, but that's the trade for today. And I am going to try and put together maybe a little, it can't be a spreadsheet, but I'll try and put in the description area how our trades play out. Most of them are lined up for that March 17th options expiration date. So I think I'll try and do a video close to that options expiration date so I can show you how the trades have actually panned out. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you are on that Boeing leg out, then you do need to close that down. Boeing is looking strong. It's got its sea legs back. It's got relative strength. It's coming right back into this range right here. This is telling us it's going up when the market has been going down. Institutions feel that whatever fuselage issue they had, this is going to be very, very temporary. It's not stopping production, by the way. It's simply delaying deliveries while they check it out. So yeah, it looks like buyers are still right back in this stock, and it is strong relative to the market. Market down, 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 stock holding its own. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to try and do a video Sunday night. We will see you then. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.